Hey, Chad Peterman here, your host of the Can't Stop the Growth podcast, a show that advances the home services industry and beyond. In this exclusive series, I've joined forces with Camp Digital to bring you powerful learnings that advance you and your business in the realm of all things marketing. Together, we bring content that empowers you to build a positive, healthy workplace for you, your people, and your bottom line. So let me officially pass the mic to Camp Digital for today's episode, chock full of insights that you can take and apply to your growth. Now listen and grow.
Welcome back to Around the Campfire, where stories ignite inspiration and sparks of innovation fuel the future of the trades. Today, we're thrilled to bring you an empowering conversation with Kate Cinnamo, the powerhouse executive director of Explore the Trades. Since 2017, Kate has been on a mission to redefine how we think about the plumbing, HVAC, and electrical industries, not just as jobs, but as thriving, purpose-driven careers with endless possibilities. Under her leadership, Explore the Trades has distributed skilled trades content to over 1,800 schools across the U.S. and Canada, lighting the path for 725,000 students to discover the opportunities waiting in the trades. Kate has been instrumental in building pipelines between contractors and schools, and since 2022, her team has equipped 25 schools with hands-on HVAC and plumbing equipment to train the next generation of skilled professionals. Whether you're a contractor, an educator, or someone passionate about empowering the future workforce, this episode is packed with actionable insights, inspiring success stories, and bold ideas. Pull up a seat, grab your coffee, and join us as we dive into the incredible work of Explore the Trades with the one and only Kate Cinnamo. For more information about Explore the Trades, you can go to explorethetrades.org and follow them on social at Explore the Trades. Let's build the future of the trades together. Well, today is a great day. I get to sit down with Kate Cinnamo, who is the executive director of Explore the Trades. Welcome, Kate.
Thanks, Megan. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we're excited. So first of all, how did you get into Explore the Trades? What's your background?
So my background prior to this role at Explore the Trades, I had worked in the nonprofit sector ever since I graduated from college, from different organizations. And then prior to my spot in this role, I had worked in the senior healthcare and housing industry for over 10 years. And on the community relations, grant management side of the business. And it was just one of those days where I felt like I had sort of reached the capacity in my spot at that organization and decided that I was ready for something different and ready for a new challenge. And I found myself in the trades.
Wild ride, right? Here we are in the trades. So talk to me about Explore the Trades. Give me like a high-level overview right now of what Explore the Trades does.
Sure. So Explore the Trades, again, nonprofit organization founded in 2005. And the mission is to bridge the technical talent gap to the service trades of plumbing, HVAC, and electrical. And ultimately, our focus at Explore the Trades is to say, how can we bring the trades back into the conversation at the school level? So let's think about elementary, middle school, high school. How do we ensure that those individuals have what they need to explore careers in the trades after graduation? And then on the flip side of that, how can we be a partner to businesses in the industry who are looking to grow their business, maybe expand their recruiting strategies? How can we be a partner to those contractors as well?
Sure. So let's talk about elementary age, because I feel like, a lot of people think that's too early, but I actually think that's when you need to start having the conversation. So can you talk to me about kind of how you go about getting into elementary schools and having that initial conversation?
Yeah, that's a great point, Megan, in that, and that's what we hear a lot to say, well, isn't elementary school too early? How do you explain these careers to kindergarten through fifth graders? But it's been interesting because our organization has worked with the Association of School Counselors in America, and we've been a part of their events year after year. And it's been interesting because we have seen an increase of interest and requests by school counselors and teachers in the elementary buildings to say, that's great that you have information for older students. Do you have something that we could share with our elementary kids to explain to them what these careers are all about? And I think on the education side, it's been interesting to see that pendulum swing to say, the realization that, what, these students deserve more information about something that doesn't entail going to college immediately after high school graduation. And so I think it's, getting in front of those students visually with pictures. And I'm going to date myself, but I always think of those Richard Scarry books we had when we were little, where it's a day in the life of, and you get to see all of these different jobs. And I think that's the way that we can start showing them, explaining to them, here are the people that ensure your water is hot and clean. And there are people that ensure your lights come on. And there are people who make sure your house has air conditioning in the summer. So I think it's really going down to that younger age group and set the stage. It may not mean that they want to do that when they're adults, but at least they understand what these jobs do.
Yeah, that's really cool. Let's talk about the stigma, because I think prior to COVID, and during COVID, there was this crazy lack of technicians. There was such a need for technicians. Every shop was saying, oh, I could do more business if we only had more technicians. And now I'm seeing that has lessened a little bit. Are you seeing that too, Kate? Like, there's absolutely still a need, but are you seeing that it's caught up a little bit?
I think that it's caught up a little bit. I think to your point earlier about there still being a stigma, I think there is a little bit, but that has softened, definitely. We all saw the article that came out, 2 months ago about Gen Z being the tool belt generation, and everybody in the industry cheered. But I think that, like that article explained, you're talking about a group of young adults who were hit from all sides of all these external factors, one being COVID. All of a sudden, we have to go home and we have to do school from home. So I think that they saw in real time what happens to people who have quote unquote essential jobs and those that don't. So I think that group grew up with that. And now you have external factors from college and how tuition is through the roof. And, how can I pay for that? So this group of young adults has sort of been the experimental group to say, hey, here's what's going to happen after a pandemic. College isn't what it used to be. And hey, now we're rediscovering this whole group of careers.
Yeah. When you look at kind of influencers of children, when they're looking at making decisions, I look at parents and educators are big influencers. So how is Explore the Trades, first of all, are you doing anything to influence parents right now in their decision-making with their children on education?
That's a great question. So the information, the bulk of our information is online, which is explorethetrades.org. Educators, parents, and those people who are looking to enter the trades, we have different sections of the website that target certain questions that you might have. And I think with parents, being one myself, I think that's probably the hardest group to persuade that the trades are okay to do that, because we all grew up, those of us who have kids in middle school, high school, early adulthood, everyone grew up in the 90s and 80s and the early 2000s to say, hey, after high school graduation, you just have to go to college. That's just what you do. And we all grew up with that. And I think it's hard for parents to let go of that, because I want my child to be successful. And I know that the trades are really important, but not for my child. You know what I mean? So right. So I think we're talking out of both sides of our mouth to say, yeah, we really need these careers and we know they pay well, but at the same time, college is where my child is going. So I think we have this discrepancy of opinions, it's the belief, but yet we have to convince them that it's okay, that their child would be totally fine in this area, in this sector.
Yeah. You and I both know that some of the wealthiest people we know are in the trades. I mean, that's just a fact. Most successful people in this country. I love some of your stats. Explore the Trades has 2,557 schools and businesses and other agencies that are utilizing their resources. They've impacted 741,000 students, and they are in 15.2% of the U.S. school districts are using their materials. So those are just amazing stats. And I think when a kid goes to school and they see this information that you guys are providing, I think they come home and at least start that conversation. So, what are the main things that you guys are doing to impact these schools right now?
The main thing, the most important thing that Explore the Trades has done to get in front of school counselors and, other teachers at the various levels, I think is just providing information that is easy to understand, that in a nutshell, I can talk to a student about, here's where you would start an apprenticeship, and here's what that potential career path looks like. Because, from what we had been studying and observing is that everybody knows how to go to college. Everybody knows the application process and everybody knows that. But since the trades and tech ed, kind of in the 70s had started to disappear from schools, is that all of a sudden you're not talking about apprenticeships anymore and you don't have a teacher on site to walk you through that. So we wanted to create a kit for the classroom that said, hey, if you want to be a plumber, here's what that looks like. Here's an apprenticeship. Here's how long that would take. Did you know that you get paid during that to learn the skill? So in a nutshell, for those educators who were either uninformed or underinformed, that's where we could say, here's your kit. Now you can have a conversation. And if there's more questions, then bring them back to us because we'd be happy to help. But if we can just provide you with some foundational question and answer, now you can take that conversation forward rather than, well, I don't know, so I'm not going to talk about it. I think that's kind of the barrier that we saw.
Right. And I think the educators they're hungry for this information. So when you are dealing with a shop that wants to partner with a school, they're really interested in partnering with the school. How does that relationship work, and how does Explore the Trades support a shop that wants to go educate a school?
Yeah. So if we were to have a shop reach out to us, and because a lot of the questions start by saying, hey, our local school is doing a career fair. What do you have that we could bring to that? So that's really the first point of entry to say, hey, we've been invited or we want to participate. What do you have for us? And we want to make sure that the information they bring, we know that contractors and their teams, no one has time to create this stuff. So they can call us and we will give you all the information you need to help sell your business at the fair. And then I think what has transpired over the last 18 to 24 months is, the numbers that you shared a few minutes ago regarding the number of school districts that have our information. We can look at our Rolodex of schools, so to speak, to say, hey, if you are in Des Moines, Iowa, funny enough, these are the schools in that community who have already reached out to us. So if we know that there's a school that has an interest in that, we'd be more than happy to make that introduction to say, hey, we know that Joe and Sally Smith have their plumbing company here. They're interested in reaching out to a school. Let's make that connection so that there's some give and take. And we know that the school is open to the trades. And we know that we have a company that wants to expand their recruiting into that school, then we can help facilitate that conversation.
Yeah. And I just want to say, for the home service business owners that are listening to this, just remember, someone took you under their wing to teach you the trade. So if you have some time to go into a school and make an impact, it's so important on these kids to know there are other options. I think a lot of kids feel like there's no other options for them outside of college.
Megan, you make a great point by saying, hey, someone helped you, right? So I think that all of us who work in the trades, it's sort of our responsibility to pass that down. And I've heard, over the years of, well, we don't know if we want to go into the school because we can't hire 15-year-olds. And my response is, no, you don't need to hire 15-year-olds. But if you think about when you were that age, you remember the days at school when it was a field trip somewhere cool, right? And so we got to walk around the business. We got to see all the tools that they do or use. So that will resonate with kids that age. Yeah.
Also, show them your career path. Show them how much money you're making. Like, show them a story, an end game. Those are exciting topics. I would say, like, show the debt a kid goes into with college and then show a career path in the trades. And it's really different. And all the dreams you can accomplish by pursuing a career in the trades. I want to talk about the apprentice program because I noticed that you guys have a map on your website so you can find out different apprentice opportunities within a state. I know apprentice is difficult sometimes to navigate because it's different. There's different rules kind of for every area you are regarding those journeyman and apprentice programs. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So the map that you're referring to is on our website. And what we wanted to do, because like you said, apprenticeship, that process is not a one size fits all, hardly from it around the country. And so because there are different nuances with every state, we wanted there to be an easy place where if I was interested in becoming a plumber and I lived in Minnesota or wherever, we wanted there to be an easy place for someone to go to learn about what do I need to do to become a registered apprentice. And that's the point of the map on the site, to say, regardless of where you are, let us get you to the right spot. Because I remember doing this when I first started in this role, is apprenticeships. Okay, well, now Google's giving me thousands of places to go, and it's easy to get confused and lost. And so we just wanted to simplify that knowledge seeking for so many people.
Yeah, I love that. I also noticed that you have a Ride and Decide, some information on that. So can you talk to me about the Ride and Decide program a little bit?
Yeah. So again, it's on our website. It's under the section of industry partners and employers. And what we wanted to do is, again, let's remove as many barriers as we can. So we put some information together online for businesses to say, hey, if you are interested in running a Ride and Decide program one summer, let's put together sort of a sample schedule, things that you have to consider so that you don't have to think about the process. We've already sort of outlined what that could look like, which makes it an easier, I don't want to say easy, but maybe it becomes an easier conversation with the school to say, hey, after the school year gets out, would you be interested in partnering and, informing your students about this internship opportunity that we have at the local HVAC company? I think it's just another way to get those young adults interested into the shop, walk them through what it's like to be a technician, have them go sit with marketing or accounting or warehouse so that they can see all the different parts of the business. So you're opening up the shop to say, it's not just technical. We'd love for you, if you have the technical aptitude, these are right for you. But if you're still interested in the trades and maybe the technician role isn't for you, look at all these other areas that you can be a part of.
Tell me about this, the Ferguson partnership that Explore the Trades has now.
Yeah. So our partnership with Ferguson, this started in 2021, and we partnered with them to create an equipment grant program. And every year, and the applications are open right now. They're open until March 31st. But in the interest of getting plumbing and HVAC classes back into middle schools and high schools around the country, we started this partnership program to allow schools to apply for equipment, whether they're opening a brand new plumbing or HVAC class or they need new items for an existing class. We wanted to hit both audiences. But it's just, again, how can we make it easy for schools to have trades education again. And we know that, all of these classes at one point in time existed and then they disappeared, I think for a wide variety of reasons, but one of them being they're really expensive to maintain. You have to have an instructor, you have to have tools and equipment, and it gets really expensive. So one of the driving forces of the program is to say, how can we make it affordable and easy for schools to get jump-started for plumbing and HVAC? And at this point in time, it's just those two trades. We're always open to see if we can have an electrical vendor come on board, to provide those supplies as well. But yeah, so this will be our fourth year of the program, and then we were excited to add SkillCat as a new partner this year. So SkillCat, with their online platform of training, now all of the recipients of these equipment grants also have free access to that training platform with complimentary information that they could use with their students.
That is so cool. I love that. It's real nice to see this getting back into the schools. Another thing that I've noticed is in recent years, I've noticed that students that go to high school have an opportunity to go to a technical school half day in a lot of areas now. Is there a way that Explore the Trades is supporting the technical school education as well?
I think the best way I can answer that question, Megan, is using our Skills Lab program with Ferguson and now SkillCat. I think it's interesting because in totality, we've been able to get equipment to 25 schools in 15 states around the country. Yeah, and it's awesome. And 2 of those 25 are middle schools, which is very encouraging.
So cool.
That. And of the pool of applicants who have been recipients of these grants, there are a few that are technical high schools. The rest are, just your neighborhood high school who decided to add a trades program. So using that pool, it's a mix. So a few technical high schools, and then the remaining are just your community high school.
That's so great. Can you talk about really getting into the shops that are looking to recruit young adults into, the trades? What is some advice that you have for these shops on how to go about this right now?
Yeah. Well, I think over the past couple years, there's been a trend of a lot of those shops creating their own in-house training academies, which I think is really a great investment. You're hiring a full-time trainer, so to speak, and we've seen really successful examples of shops, churning out and training their technicians, which is really cool. I think for some that may not have either the space or the resources to do that right now, I would encourage them to either, again, contact the local school to see if there would be plans to open a trades program at the high school, if that was going to be added to their curriculum. I think that's one way to do it. I think there's been a number of outreach activities that shops have done as part of, their recruiting efforts. One that comes to mind is, how do you have an open house at night where maybe that marketing come into the shop and see what's going on and learn about careers, but they're also incorporating a DIY fix that you could do at home. So it's kind of a education/training/recruiting effort that they can put out there. And I think that the third thing that has been really interesting to see grow is, everyone's hearing about CTE and career technical education. And, I think that is becoming more and more popular and used in school districts around the country. And with all of those schools who have a CTE program, whether it's in the trades or it's robotics or, culinary, whatever would be considered under those umbrellas, is that there are always advisory committees related to those classes. So I'm encouraging those shops to say, if you know that your school has a CTE program and it falls under, plumbing, HVAC, electrical, whatever your trade might be, reach out to the school to see how you can be a part of that advisory committee. What a great way to put your name out there And if you have the chance to meet the students and have input on what they're learning or equipment they're learning on, I think that's a great recruiting tool. Just to say, hey, I own the local HVAC company, happy to be a part of the advisory committee. And if you can see the students in action to help influence what they're learning, that's a great way to see who's ready for a job after high school.
That is so cool. I love all the work that you guys are doing. Is there any stats you have? I know there used to be these stats on like how many people were retiring and then how many new people were going into the trades. Are there any stats that you can share, Kate, on that right now?
Yeah, I think based on everything that has been put out about the movement of employees, I've always seen that for every 5 people coming out of the workforce, only 2 are entering. And I think that 5-to-2 ratio has been pretty consistent over the last few years.
Yeah, and I think these shops just came off some really busy years with, the pandemic. And I think that a lot of them couldn't even lift their head up to think, outside of like what was going on in the business just to keep technicians going and jobs going. But now with a little bit of, things are slowing down a little bit. It's a great time, I think, right now to look at this aspect of your business and how are you making an impact on new technicians knowing about what you do, and then how are you educating them about the trades to come in? Because it's amazing how much impact one person can have in one school district in this industry. I wanted you to share kind of what donations do. I saw that for $20 a month, if I give $20 a month to Explore the Trades, I can give 24 poster kits, which supports about 5,600 students. That's huge, $20 a month. So can you talk about kind of when people donate to Explore the Trades, what is that supporting the most? And like, I love how you put with each dollar amount, there was even a $10 amount that I can see tangibly, okay, that's what my money is doing. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's exactly it, Megan. In that with For the Trades being a nonprofit, those donations help us to, again, how can we best support the community that we're focused on? So when we're talking about schools, we always know that budgets are tight. So how can we best support those educators to then turn around and support their students? And I think with everyone in the industry, it's a big circle. The more technicians we have, businesses are able to grow, and with manufacturers, we can create and distribute products and that help us all. So those poster kits have been the prime example of getting that necessary knowledge to those students. So we have, the current, I'm calling it the original. The original poster kit we have has been really the driving force to get into schools. And now by the end of this year, we're excited to add a version that's been translated to Spanish, because we know that the student population, the Hispanic student population, continues to grow, and we want to make sure that that group of students has the information they need to learn about the trades. And then sort of hearkening back to the conversation we had about elementary students, we're also, by the end of the year, we will have visual, like an illustrated series exactly for students, that kindergarten through 5th grade. So it's all illustrated so that they can see a cutaway of a house, to see the technicians working on different pieces. And part of that is, how can we create those posters in language that young readers can read themselves? So we're trying to hit them from all sides, Megan. And so we don't want there to be an excuse for you not to have that conversation.
Yeah, I love that. Hey, is there anything else that you want to talk about Explore the Trades that you want to share with the audience?
Yeah, I think we have a team of 3. So I always say we're small but mighty. And I think that what's been most interesting for us is we have conversations almost daily and understanding what instructors are doing at their schools who do have a trades program. And we just went out to Mayfair Elementary Middle School in Philadelphia. So myself and then my counterpart from Ferguson we made the visit, and Mayfair had been a skills lab recipient from last year. So we wanted to do a site visit. We wanted to just see the class. And what's been interesting is in the various skill lab site visits we've done, it's always the same story. You get to see students who are really excited and really engaged about trying the trades and showing us what they can do with the tools. And then you hear about how interest has grown in these classes, and you hear about the instructors at times making do with what they have. And a lot of those supplies and equipment are coming from out of their pocket because they want to make sure that their students have what they need. And I think the main takeaway for us is if you're a shop and you know of a local school in your community, I would just reach out to them and say, what do you need? A donation of a couple $100 or extra supplies that you have makes a really big difference. So if that's one way you can help, there's a lot of good stories, and there are a lot of students who you can see here now, and you know that in order to keep that interest going, this is what they need. They need people to invest in them and the supported businesses. So that's always me on my soapbox every time we visit one of these schools, because it is really exciting to see that.
Yeah. And it's so important right now. I think if you're a home service business and you're listening to this, I just want to also emphasize there's not a lot of organizations that are doing what Explore the Trades do. There's very few that are inspiring young adults to go into the trades. And so if you're not supporting one of them, including Explore the Trades, it's, like I said, for as little as $20 a month, you're supporting 5,600 students getting information about the trades. And these school districts, unfortunately, do not have the money to invest in a lot of this information to educate kids. And the counselors are hungry for it. They're hungry for the information because the kids want an alternative to college. And so this is end of the year stuff. And we are asking you to really donate to one of these causes and hopefully explore the trades.
That's right.
Right, Kate? Yeah, it's so important for the future of your business. And if you consider your children or these legacy businesses are going to take them over, this is so important for the future of your business that you invest in the future of your business.
Yeah, absolutely. And, like I said, we were just in Philadelphia, and I could go on and on about all these stories. But, what was really fun to see is in that trades class, you're teaching plumbing and HVAC to fourth graders. And we had the chance to watch 4 fourth grade girls soldering copper pipe. Like they had been doing it for years. And you just think, man, if everyone could see that, you would see that the trades aren't dead. They're growing and thriving in schools that choose to make that investment. So that's kind of where I'm at today.
I just got chills. They're so inspiring. And the work that Kate and her team do is not easy work. It's super hard. And fighting that fight every day for you guys is what they do. And it's not easy. And so we really appreciate all the work Explore the Trades is doing for the industry for sure.
Thanks, Megan. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And like I said, now this will hit before the end of the year. So we'd love for you guys to look at donating to Explore the Trades. Make that a part of your 2025 initiative. So thank you so much for being here, Kate.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to get connected, you can find me at chadmpeterman.com. To see what our team's up to, you can visit petermanbros.com. As always, keep growing out there.